We had a wire-to-wire winner at the Genesis Invitational at a classic golf course, and all everybody could talk about was a golfer who wasn't there on a tour that doesn't exist and may never exist. That, and we preview the Honda Classic coming up this week as we begin the Florida Swing here on Gaming Golf. Everybody, welcome to Gaming Golf, the Honda Classic edition and the review of the Genesis Invitational. I'm Jeff Erickson. I'm here with Scott Genstad from Rotowire and Jeff Ritter from SI Golf. Guys, it was a loaded field, a beautiful golf course, a changing course on Sunday, a great charge to win second place, but a wire winner with Joaquin Niemann. Niemann, I mean, he just blew away the field those first 2 days and then held on afterward. Jeff, what does that do for you with Niemann going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think someone like him, he feels like the oldest 23-year-old on tour. Did you say that last week, Scott? I heard that somewhere. It just feels like he's been around forever as like, a future star. But not so much that he won the event last week, but the way he won it and the field that he beat. I mean, we made the case here a week ago that this might be the strongest non-major field of the year. To go wire to wire, I mean, that is like that really gets your attention as far as what Joaquin Niemann is today and what he's capable of. So it's like it's not your average tour victory. It's really, the way he won it. That's like you level up from there in terms of where you are and where you fit in the hierarchy of the game today.
Sure.
Yeah, you throw up a back-to-back 63 Thursday, Friday at Riviera, and that's pretty. I mean, like had a little bit on Sunday where you just couldn't quite get it going, but never. I mean, every time he needed a big shot or needed a birdie to kind of keep Cameron Young away and keep some of those bigger names from getting close, so he got it. I mean, the weekend wasn't quite as good as this Thursday, Friday, which was freaking exquisite, but
right.
Just kind of got it. It just got around on Sunday, got it done, hit some big shots, and it was super impressive.
Yeah, like he got to a one-stroke lead like once or twice and almost immediately stretched it right back out. It wasn't the 5-shot lead he had on Saturday, but still 3 shots at almost the whole day until like he's with Morikawa is within 2 and he's on the green and on 18 and nothing. It was like, okay, great. So in part because of the lack of drama, in part because some of like the top stars weren't there on Sunday. Like Rahm was barely televised. Rory was done way early, did his backdoor top 10 thing. A lot of the focus in the golf media world is on Phil Mickelson and the Saudi tour that may or may not happen. I mean, that really blew up. It was starting to blow up before the most outrageous quote in the world ever happened. Jeff, I'm going to go to you again first because you are a golf media dude. My God, what a quote from Mickelson there. I mean, Shupnick really, that's going to pay, like that's going to sell a lot of books with that quote.
It probably has. Yeah, I think you can pre-order his book. Shipnuck and we used to work together at Sports Illustrated for a number of years, and he's as plugged in as anyone.
Yeah,
he's known Mickelson his whole career. The Shipnuck and Phil are about the same age, so they go way back. So there's a comfort level there where and Shipnuck outlined it in his story of, hey, I'm writing this book, with or without Phil's cooperation. He had plenty of details. And Phil kind of surprises him with a phone call around Thanksgiving, right at the end, right as he's kind of putting the finishing touches on the book to talk about specifically this, this interview that's, didn't really want to comment on any of the other things. He has this Saudi thing on his mind. And, Phil has his comfort level with Shipnuck, and it just, obviously just a shocking admissions, just an unfiltered, unvarnished look at what was really, it was on his mind, at the forefront of his mind at that moment in November, I believe, when he did the interview. And it just, it's hard to know. It's hard to imagine somebody as smart as Phil not just being so tone deaf to not understand like how that's going to play. And yes, you have this, you're maybe in that moment, he's just in this war with the PGA Tour, and he's trying to figure out a way to get some of his, his causes advanced through the tour, but it just comes off so tone deaf, so arrogant. It's not a good. It's gonna take some time, for this one to settle. And obviously for the Saudi tour, there's obviously there's setbacks there. It's set back clearly the momentum that appeared to be growing within that, renegade tour. This is a setback there. They lost Dustin Johnson, who was rumored kind of connected to it. Bryson DeChambeau seemed to be connected to it, if you're, reading the tea leaves, and now they're both out. So, and Rory McIlroy calls it dead in the water on Sunday. I mean, it just, I would not go so far as to write off this Saudi Arabia tour yet. I think there's still too much money over there and too many, if they had 20, now they have 17 or 18 people. It's still, I'm not ready to say, oh, forget about the Saudi league, because I think there's just too much. There's too much money over there it's
going to be the Phil and Jason Kokrak tour though right now. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it might be. Maybe that's how it starts, but it might just start somewhere. And if it just sticks around for year after year, then who knows where it goes? If they're able to get it running. So I'm not ready to call Saudi golf dead, but it was certainly a bad week, and it was an even worse week for Phil.
Scott, you want to weigh in?
I mean, that's more of a Jeff expertise than me, but I'm pretty willing to call it dead. I mean, dead's not the right word, but like maybe irrelevant for a long time. I mean, the guys that are attached now are, over 40, and maybe, that's the way they win some money, and they can't really win on tour anymore. Some of his names on here. I don't know. When Dustin and Bryson, made statements that they were out, and all the big names, Morikawa made a similar statement. We saw Rory's statement about Phil, like, as we talked about it kind of before we got on air, but I don't want to kick Phil when he's down, but now I'm going to kick Phil when he's down over and over repeatedly. Like he didn't hold back at all, which is Rory's one of my favorite players, because I just love the fact that he's super honest and down to earth and says what he believes, says what he thinks. And I think when you get that many big name elite players who are like, there's no way I would do this thing, I think it's pretty dead for me for a while, at least in terms of like real relevance.
Yeah, JT's comment was pretty strong there too, and that was the one I always thought that like he was one of the young guys that kind of was buddies with Phil, but I think they put on like this happy face maybe at the Ryder Cup, but maybe they don't care for him that much. I don't know. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw, but I did drop Phil in our league. I don't think he's going to play for a while.
It's wild how he went from everybody thought he was kind of arrogant, didn't like him, and then like the social media age last 5 years, like he became super popular with hitting bombs and his calves and like the fireside chats with Phil, and then in like 2 quotes he went back to nobody liking him again. It's just it's been an amazing roller coaster with Phil of like everybody loved him, then everybody didn't like him, then everybody loved him again, now everybody doesn't like him. It's wild how much it's swung.
Well, you turn your back on Pebble, you turn your back on Phoenix, you turn your back on LA. I mean, these are courses where not only is he beloved there, but they're like, that's his backyard. That's like where he's played a ton. He's just like, screw that. I've got my axe to grind instead. You're right. The narrative change is so remarkable there with him, and how quickly too. And the chronology, like the quotes that he did with Allen. Those were made back, like you, Jeff, like you said in November. The other ones about like his maybe perhaps legitimate gripes about the PGA Tour and imaging and all that. You could make a case for that. He started to make the case for that, but then of course he went too far. But this other quote's just so wild, though. It just delegitimizes everything. He's an
architect. The fact that he's helping them create the tour. I mean, wow. Just
and any legit case you may have, or like talking point that's interesting, just goes away when you say the stupid stuff he does. I mean, you lose any of that other stuff when he makes the comment he did.
But sure. But just as the same way I say the Saudi league, I don't think is dead. You said it, Scott. Phil's been up and down. I don't think Phil's dead either. I think he can come out. There's just it seems so hopeless today, and he's gonna. Are people really going to boo Phil Mickelson year after year after year over this interview in November? I don't know.
No, probably not.
So. I think
he's probably in the right sport fan wise where that's not going to be as big a problem.
I would definitely say the golf media and his peers are way more upset than golf fans are.
I think that's fair.
I agree.
We'll see. I just don't think he's going to play for a while because he's just. I mean, I think he's kind of isolated himself, but we'll see.
It's
So
too bad.
you guys,
There's a lot of missed cuts out there for him to strive for.
I was just gonna say, starting on March 1st, y'all can try to pick him up.
He was gonna dominate the Champions Tour this year, though. There's a lot of money to be made for him there.
Yeah, but not the images from the Champions Tour. Oh wait, sorry, too soon. All right. Let's move on. Usually we allocate about 30 minutes, and we've already spent 10 of it not allocating for this tournament. So about 10 minutes in, we'll do this here. Okay, Honda Classic. We had 10 of 10 in the top 10 play last week. We had a loaded field. Very few players stayed away, except with the exception of a few Euros and Phil. This week, a lot of these guys are taking time off. We still got the Arnold Palmer. We still got some other big WGC coming up. So we don't have as many big names this week.
No, we do not. We go from the toughest field probably of the year in a non-major to one of the weaker fields, but still being played on perhaps the toughest golf course. So especially if it's windy, it's still a fun event to watch. I mean, you can take a drink every time someone says bear trap on the broadcast if you want, and just, you can play your own game that way. But I still think it can be a very fun weekend, even with fewer high wattage names in the field. I still look forward to this one because I think those Sunday finishes can often be fun.
Yeah, I like this course too. I mean, it's fun. There's water on 15 of 18 holes, like in play. You've got two different 3-hole groupings that are among the top 5 toughest groupings on tour. When you get the bear trap at 15, 16, 17, but 5, 6, 7 are also among the top 5 and toughest 3-hole stretches on tour all year. I mean, it's a fun course. I mean, like the last 7 years, the winner was in double digits only twice. Matt Jones won last year at -12. But this is a whole tournament where you get a lot of double bogeys and triple bogeys. We don't get that in a lot of events on tour. A lot of bogeys are really bad score even last week, but you get a lot of doubles and triples this week, so it's wild, it's fun. There are a couple of good second and third tier players, but you don't have the elite of the elite. And you look at betting odds and DraftKings prices, and it's just after guys were getting it 7,500 and 80 to 1 are now 9,000 and 22 to 1. So it's you got to readjust, but there's still DraftKings tournaments and FanDuel tournaments to win and bets to win. So it's another fun week, I think.
Yep, we've replaced Kikuya with Bear Trap in terms of our promoting alcoholism.
They love saying Kikuya.
Yes, they do.
Every time it sticks, it's like, oh, Kikuya. I'm like, all right, Faldo, we get it.
Yeah, and now we go to NBC, so no more Faldo for a while, so no more Gymnast for a while, so we got that change as well. Let's look at the field here. There's 5 guys in 5 digits. Guys that usually aren't 5-digit guys are 5-digit guys this week. Sanjay M is at 11,000. Louis is at 10.8. Niemann is at 10.6. Berger 10.4. And Brooks Koepka at 10.1. Scott Genstead, what do you like in this group, if any?
I do like a couple. I think Sung Jae's hard to argue against. He's really expensive, which was the biggest argument against him, but playing really well. He won this tournament in 2020. I actually had bet on him in that one, so it was a lot of fun. He had a really good shot on 17, I think, to kind of clinch it, the par 3 there. He was 8th in 2021, so just playing really well. Last 8 events, 1 missed cut, 4 top 10s, 6 top 20s. He kind of took a couple weeks off, which we never see, so maybe that's re-energizing a little bit, playing really well. But I think my top guy here, I think I'm going to take a little risk here. I'm going to go back to Daniel Berger at 10,400. I know he missed the 1 week, and then last week he missed the cut at Phoenix, lost strokes across the board, but he'd been hitting it so incredibly well prior to the WD at Pebble. He sounds like he's getting healthier. He's gained a tee to green approach in 9 straight events prior to that blip in Phoenix. So finished 4th here in 2020, gained really nicely in tee to green approach that year. I think the course fits him. I think he's the best player in this field overall. Give me him at the 4th highest price. I'm going to go ahead and take that chance.
The only thing I wonder about Berger is just this injury. This was like a back or neck, or I think you're getting a discount now at this price, even though it's still a 5-figure price. But just because the field's so weak, he should probably be priced higher. But I like the pick. I would still look at Brooks Koepka. I know he missed the cut last week, but I just think he was close at Phoenix. Seems to be coming back around, getting back in major championship form, and I think he's almost won this event at least once in his career. I was trying to dig out a course history stat. He's come close.
Second in 2019.
And he played his college golf in Florida too.
Yeah, so. He's a Florida guy. So I do think in general, I like a stars and scrubs build for DFS this week because the scrubs are particularly scrubby. I think you just, we're talking about when the top players that are in this field in such a weak field now, I think their advantage is more pronounced. So I want to get a couple guys off these high tiers. So I think Im deserves to be the favorite. And if you can find a way to put him in your lineup, I think that's smart. But I also like Koepka and Berger too.
So third week in a row for Brooksy. Does he care? And that's the thing I kind of wonder about sometimes.
Short week last week.
I said it last week, and I mean Brooks is Brooks. He can go off any time. But if you look at stats, he's like legit been bad. Aside from that week at Phoenix, he's lost strokes tee to green now in 6 of 7 events that have shot track on it. Has lost an approach in 5 of 7, off the tee in 4 of 5. Like it's weird. You look at Phoenix, and Phoenix sticks out as a weird outlier where he played well, gained a lot of strokes putting. I just don't think his game's in a very good place right now. Granted, it's Brooks; he can kind of turn that around at any point, but it's hard for me to pay 5 digits for a guy who just legit is not playing good golf right now.
Sure, I get it there. All right, $9,000 guys. Tommy Fleetwood, 99. First time I think we've mentioned his name this season. Billy Horschel, 96. Shane Lowry, 94. Alex Noren, 93. Matthew Wolff, 92. Keith Mitchell, 91. Matt Jones at 9,000. Jeff, do you like this tier? And if so, who do you like?
I do like the tier. I like Billy Horschel a lot for that price.
I do too.
Another Florida guy, just very consistent. Tee degree game fits the tee degree game profile you need out here. I think that's a good price for Billy Horschel. I like Matt Wolff as a narrative pick, but I probably want to see a little bit more from him before I put him in my lineups. But I think Keith Mitchell right below at 9,100 is playing really good golf. He's won at this. I think he won in 2019, I believe, was Mitchell's year. He's probably playing the best golf of his career now. And even Shane Lowry, I think, I've talked about him. I like to call him like the big game hunter because he won this Open, but I don't know. He's got a good track record also at this event. I think he's 4 for 4 or 5 out of 5, something like that, in cuts made. I don't think he's missed a cut. So I like the 9,000 tier a lot. And like I said, I'd want to get a couple of these guys in my lineup.
Jeff stole a couple of mine. I do. Keith Mitchell just playing really well right now. 4 tourneys in 2020. He did miss 1 cut, but the other 3 are top 12s. Gained really nicely tee to green in 3 of 4. Gained 9.3 tee to green and 4.9 off the tee in Phoenix. Just hitting the ball really well. I like Lowry too. He finished top 25 in his last 2 events on the Euro Tour in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and his last 2 Euro events in 2011 were both top 10. So he's playing good golf right now. I think Horschel's going to be very popular. I am not playing him this week. I think the last couple tournaments he gained a ton on the greens, over 5 strokes on the green. I tend to like to fade guys who just kind of putted out of their mind last couple tournaments. He lost tee to green, off the tee, and approach at Farmer, so kind of the putter just made up for a lot of stuff. I really like Tommy Fleetwood this week. I've been off Tommy Fleetwood for about a year and a half, but I think he's playing really well now. Top 12 in Dubai. He made the cut in Abu Dhabi. Really good course history here. Finished 3rd in 2020, 4th in 2018. Couple of top 10s late in 2021 on the Euro Tour. Has not missed a cut since May 2020. I think the game's coming around, and I think under 10,000, he's a play that I really like this week. I think he's got a chance to win this week. Interesting.
All right. I like it when you guys agree on a player, so I'm almost certainly going to be rostering Mitchell, but we'll see how else everything fits. A lot of the time it is roster construction, and we have to kind of figure out what we're going to do with that. Before we move on to the $8,000 tier, a quick note from our Bluewire sponsors. Okay, we are back. Thanks to Bluewire for hosting the RotoWire series of podcasts, as well as Gaming Golf, which is a collaboration between RotoWire and Morning Read /SI Golf. I'm Jeff Erickson here with Jeff Ritter and Scott Genstad. We're previewing the Honda Classic. We're moving into the $8,000 tier. Here are the golfers in the 8,000s. Mito, check your libido. Mito Pereira is at 8,900. It's dizzying heights for him. Patrick Reed, 88. Brian Harmon, 87. Cameron Young, we saw a lot of him last week on the broadcast. He's at 86. Johnny Vegas is at 85. Aaron Wise is at 84. Mackenzie Hughes is 83. Gary Woodland, 82. Russell Knox at 81. And Christian Bezwiedenhut is at 8,000. Scott, who do you like?
Did you just go with a young MC reference on the golf pod?
I got to keep it for the young folks here, that all the young folks that are listening to us. So yes,
the young
using
folks
dated 90s hip hop references. Yes.
a song that came out in 92 or something like that. Yeah, this range is interesting because we've got, last week and the week before, we had so many good golfers at 8,000. We're like, oh, I love this range, and these guys are all really good. And this week, you got to dig a little bit. It's a tougher range. I do like some players in here. I think I'm going to go back to Russell Knox again. Weirdly, he's finished 33rd 3 weeks in a row, which has to be a new record for a weird stat. Just hit it really well again. He gained 4.1 tee to green, 3.4 on approach, his third straight great ball striking week, and 405 been really good. If you go like a little deeper, good drives gained. You really need some accuracy off the tee, or you don't want to hit the ball in the water. He's number one in the field in good drives gained over the last 24 rounds. He's top 10 in bogey avoidance, which is another stat you really like here. He's number one in the field in shot gain approach over the last 12 rounds. Like a lot of stats where he's just playing really good golf right now. Last week, he didn't get it done on the weekend. Last week played pretty well on Thursday, Friday, then kind of faded a little bit. But I think at 8,100, he makes a lot of sense. Seabez, who we talked about a lot. I didn't like him last week. Missed the cut. I just don't think Riviera is a good course for him. But finished 14th at Pebble. Kind of an accurate player off the tee, a good iron player. I think he fits this course really well, 8,000. And lastly, I like Johnny Vegas, 8,500. He's made 5 straight cuts here. 4 of those inside the top 30. Gained tee to green at Genesis. Just lost a lot putting. Finished 55th, but he lost 4.5 strokes putting. And he could turn that around. Good tee to green approach numbers at Farmers and Genesis. So I think he's playing really well, ball striking right now, and has a good history here. So 8,500 is always it's a hefty price to play for someone like Vegas, but I think it works this week.
I would start this tier just by pointing out that Patrick Reed is on my seasonal team, priced at 8,800, and I still want my money back from that pick. I would like to see.
I tried to look for like a stat that he made sense this week, and he's lost strokes tee to green in 9 straight events that have shot tracker. 9.
God.
Wow. That's just stunning.
I guess I could pick up Phil Mickelson and drop Reed now. That
he's out. No, but you have to wait till March 1st.
The only way to find someone more likable than Reed is to grab Mickelson.
Scott, it's been a while since we've had a tier where we completely differ on. Not that I don't like the guys that you picked, but I flagged off this tier Aaron Wise, who has a good track record off this. He hasn't done that much this year, but I just think he's got a good performance record at the Honda. I just think he's just someone I watched. Like, I thought he would be bigger by now than he is. He had a win early on in his career, and I've just been waiting for him to put it back together, and it hasn't happened yet. But this is one of his better tracks, performance-wise. Also, Mackenzie Hughes is someone who, he runs hot and cold, but he has a good track record at this event as well. Popped up in majors. I feel like that's a good price for him on like a dud field week. I could make the case there. And then I'm not giving up on Gary Woodland yet. I want to give up on Patrick Reed. I have Woodland in my seasonal league as well, and I just think he's working his way back from an injury-plagued year. But I think tee to green, when he's on, this is the kind of place where he could do some damage. I acknowledge fully that he's been off for most of this year, but I still believe in Woodland as well. So
he's had a good run here at one point, just couldn't close the deal.
Yeah.
He's only lost strokes tee to green in 4 straight weeks as opposed to Reed, so he's doing
great.
Better.
Who's
for my team? He's high.
Woodland or Hughes?
Woodland.
Woodland has. Okay, yeah. Go team. So there we go. 7,000. Let's it's a big tier. No, it's not as massive as before, but we're still, you know what? In the interest of time, I'm not gonna force you to break it into the halves. Just name your $7,000 golfer guys that you like. Jeff, we'll start with you.
Sepp Straka, backdoor top 20 last week. Look out. It's about the first thing he's done in a while. I tried to pick up CT Pan in our league and failed at that. He wasn't a full-on free agent yet. He was recently dropped. But, I pay attention to guys that just have a good Sunday the week before the tournament. And so I feel like that's a good price. You're just looking for someone. It happens a lot. And golfers can relate. You figure something out late in your round, and then you want to get back out there right away and play again. So it's just a little trend I look for. So I like CT Pan at that price. And then the other guy, I was going to actually tee you up. You picked up Nikolai, I think it's Højgaard, right? Is that how you say it?
That's what I'm going with, sure.
Yeah. So I was curious. I was going to do some research there. I was thinking about that one, but you grabbed him before you even appeared in the database. But I was curious what you saw or what made you.
The Danish sensation, Nikolai Højgaard, twin brother of Rasmus. But the thing about Højgaard is.
Got to know your Højgaards.
Yes, you do, clearly. he's been on fire in the Euro Tour. He's had a win, a second, and a fourth since November. He's a guy that is he's playing over here in the U.S. for the first time. 19-year-old, I think 19 or 20-year-old. I wanted some upside, and he is that. He's 20 is what he is. He's like 67th in the world. You're going to see him in a lot more events that are also like limited to the top players in the world, especially if he shows well at all here in the U.S. He could go the Matt Fitzpatrick route where he takes forever to start cashing in on that and then withdraw the morning of an event or anything like that. Not that we're bitter about that from last week, but give me the 20-year-old Dane than the 52 rather than the 52-year-old American, I guess is what I was going with on this one here. But he's at 76. You're not getting him cheaply here, too cheaply at least. He's not bargain basement, but you're expecting, he should be a cut maker at that price. But I like him. I like him for our season-long league where he gets multiple bites of the apple out of him.
I like the idea. Somebody's got to step up in Europe, right? Like there's a lot of people to replace off that European Ryder Cup team. And the idea of Danish twins, that's a fun. I don't know. I'm excited to see the guy. I was looking up his Euro results, but I'm excited to get a closer look. He's 20 years old and coming over for the Honda. I'm going to be watching him, and I'm jealous that you plucked him before I could even really make up my mind who I was going to cut.
Joe Sheehan was also looking at him. He emailed me as soon as I picked him up too.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Scott, who do you like in the sevens?
Yeah, I mean, Højgaard's interesting. You look at him, he got 2 top 5s in November. He won on the Euro Tour 2 weeks ago. I was a little surprised he was priced up, so clearly, DraftKings was not knew who he was ahead of time too. In this range, I like Chris Kirk at 7,500. He's gained tee to green in 8 straight tournaments. He finished 14th at Phoenix, gained 5.6 tee to green, 1.8 approach. He missed 2 cuts prior to that, but he did gain tee to green in those weeks, so he's hitting the ball well. I think he's a pretty good price here. I like Grayson Sigg again. We talked about him, I believe, at Pebble. Didn't hit it off the tee great there, but made the cut. He's made 4-4 and made cuts in 2020. Last 3 tournaments, all top 35. At this price, if he does that again, I think that's a win right there. If you look at looking at shot gained approach over the last 12 rounds, so kind of making it really recent, he's 4th in the entire field, so that's a pretty good stat right there at 7,400. And then I think Hudson Swafford's interesting again. He won at Amex in January. He's priced all the way down at 7,100. He was only 60th at Phoenix, but hit the ball well. He just lost 7.4 strokes putting. That's about as big a number as you'll see on the greens. Really rough, but you can kind of get back to even average putting, hitting the ball well. I know he missed the cut at Farmers, but a couple of good ball striking weeks at 7,100. In this field, we're kind of just looking for anything to kind of grasp onto. I think that a guy who won a month ago, hitting the ball pretty well, I think works at 7,100.
Indeed. Okay, 6,000. So let's whip through these. I mean, it's not like last week. It's not a 120-man field with only the best golfers in the world. We're digging in a little bit deeper this week. Are you avoiding the 6,000s, or is there anybody you like? Scott, you get to start.
Just a couple of names down here that I do will sprinkle in a couple of lineups. Austin Smotherman at 6,800. We talked about him a couple weeks ago. 33rd at Pebble, 11 at Farmers. Legit hit it well tee. Like you look like he didn't gain a bunch around the green or anything like that. Was it fluky? But gained 3.2 on tee to green and approach at Pebble, and then he gained 6.2 tee to green and 5.9 at Farmers on approach. So hitting the ball really, really well in those 2 tournaments. So those were legit finishes, and I like to see that at a guy that is under 7,000. The only other guy down here to get a little bit, if I can get there, is Ryan Armour at 6,600. I think he top 30 his last 2 tournaments at Sony and Pebble. Hit it really well at Sony. Gained 6.3 tee to green and 6.3 approach. So someone that you're grasping again down here under 7,000. I think I like Smotherman a little bit more, but if I needed to save a couple bucks, I think Armour's the other guy down here that I'll play.
Well, if you're going to go stars and scrubs, you better have at least a couple scrubs. So. Smotherman was my pick too off this tier. I also flagged Hayden Buckley. He's kind of living off his fall results a little bit, but he does rate highly in tee to green. I think he's top 25 in that category. Withdrew last week. We don't know why, but he's back in the field, and you're just looking for someone. You're just grabbing for someone to try to make a cut. So I do see some upside there, at least with the statistical profile. But I like Smotherman off this tier. He'd be the first. If you're going to go star and find the scrub, I would go straight to Smotherman as the scrub and start building from there.
Yeah. I made one mistake. Well, I made many mistakes, including not having the winner, but last week. But another structural mistake I made was having the same scrubs in both lineups last week. And, when that said scrub is goes +6 and then get DQs after that. You get 5 DK points and you're done. And so Wyndham Clark, come on down. I will learn from that. If I'm going to go with some guys in this tier, I'm going to use them one time and use someone else the other time. I think that's a takeaway for me.
We all were just whipped into a frenzy over Wyndham Clark when you tossed him out last week. We had certainly the viewers were excited about the Wyndham Clark.
There's dozens of us. Yes.
Everyone was on board the hype train for Wyndham Clark, and then what a spectacular
total faceplant. Oh, the other lesson I learned is don't insert my own opinion. Also, just listen to you guys. But
no, you're on the record now with Højgaard.
Yeah, I know that should be your first sign, but maybe I don't know. But I was interested. Okay, let's talk a little gaming here. It is gaming golf, not just DFS golf. So, who do we like from our betting sheet? Jeff Ritter, you get to go first here.
Yeah, it's tough because, it's a stars and scrubs week. So those stars odds are distorted from where you'd want to see them. I wouldn't write off Keith. I'd still like Keith Mitchell, though, 30-1. I show him 30-1 on golf odds. I never get into the casino area.
See him at 35 on DraftKings right
That's
now.
what I have too, yeah.
All right, yeah.
So that's even better.
The DraftKings casino is not an option here in Texas. So I just kind of go to golf odds. But
is there an option in Texas right now?
No.
I didn't think so. We're like California.
Yeah.
Allegedly, there's no options in California either.
Yes, allegedly. Yes. You you have a friend in the desert, so that's good.
I gotcha.
I know not of what you speak.
Yes. All right. So moving on. So we like Keith Mitchell at 35.
Yeah.
Who else do you like?
I would also still flag Aaron Wise, which I show 40-1 on golf odds, and then Sungjae Im deserves to be the favorite, but 12-1 for Sungjae, I just can't do it. So, but I show Billy Horschel at 20-1, and I like that too. So that's probably what. And
at PointsBet, he's 22-1. One thing on RotoWire you can check out is we list DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, and PointsBet, and they'll give you the best one of those for win bets on our golf odds page. You can check that out. RotoWire.com/try. Get your free 10-day trial. Scott, who do you like on your betting sheet?
Yeah, this is a weird week because it's a week where there's so much variation with, the guy hits a couple balls in the water. All of a sudden, a lot of people can win this week. So I'm going to go one guy at the top and then kind of go up a bunch of guys in the mid range. The top guys are tough because they're all a lot of these guys are priced under 20. We don't see them there, but I'm going to go Daniel Berger at 16-1. It was between him and Fleetwood for me. Berger's a little bit of a better price. I think I'm going to go there 16-1. And then I'm going to drop back a little bit. I'm going to go Keith Mitchell with Jeff at 35-1. I'm going to play Seabez at 50-1. And this is a good setup for him. Then dropping back a little bit, some darts. I'm going to take Russell Knox at 65-1. The ball striking is just too good right now for me not to take that price. And then I'm going to go a little Chris Kirk at 70-1 also. So, some 3 guys over 50, a couple of guys a little bit lower, but I think Daniel Berger is the one I'm going at 16-1 among the top guys.
What do you do with a guy like Cameron Young, who really splashed and is now maybe he's going to get his way into a lot more tournaments because of that? Immediate week after, is that like an auto fade after a guy's coming off his best week like that?
I was surprised he was 55-1. I thought he'd be more in the 35-40 because he really hung in there pretty well. I don't think he's a terrible stab. It's just, he hits the ball a freaking ton. So I think it's more courses for me is like, really bombers courses. He led the field in driving distance last week and just crushing the ball. I think for me, it's a little bit, I want to, this is more of an accuracy course, but on the bombers courses, Cameron Young will definitely be something I'm keeping my eye on. Yeah.
A lot of water, like you said on this one there. When you bomb inaccurately, you get punished a little bit more, perhaps. So that's not a bad point there too. Finally, one and done. What do we got this week? I think, Scott, I'm going to make you go first here. What do you got for us this week?
So I do like Berger to win, but I don't want to play him in one of my one shot coming off the injury because that is still a little bit of risk. I'm actually going Tommy Fleetwood this week. I think it's a good field for Fleetwood. I want someone that's kind of a second tier guy that is coming over, playing well, but in a field where there's not a ton of big names. A lot of the tournaments Fleetwood plays are majors, and I probably will go with someone else in a lot of those tournaments. So I think it's a good spot for me to burn Fleetwood this week. I think he has a legit chance to win, and I'm gonna use him.
And Jeff, what do you got?
Good pick. I am tempted by Sungjae Im because I don't see myself taking him in the majors, but I was also so chalky that I feel like he might be the most selected in our pool. So I'm going to go just one spot over. My second favorite pick is Billy Horschel. I'm going to take him. And I'm going to lock it in now so I don't forget and have the Scotty Scheffler incident repeat itself. So I'll be doing that for the next 30 seconds, but I still want to hear yours, Jeff.
Yeah. Who has 2 thumbs and wasted Sung J M in an event where he somehow missed the cut? This guy. So don't trail me, first of all. Fade me. I will go Berger, assuming I don't hear anything. The one thing is, with the East Coast being on the East Coast now, if you're a West Coast denizen like Scott and I, you get a late withdrawal, you're screwed because it's an early withdrawal and you're not up at 4 in the morning. But
I luckily had one DraftKings lineup that did really well last week. It was way up after 3 weeks, but the other one had Matthew Fitzpatrick in it. It was dead literally at 6 in the morning on Thursday.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that's now our new reality. We're not going to be back on the West Coast anytime soon. So
and Jeff, of course, went to his lineup, took Fitzpatrick before he texted me, and then I missed the lineup. So I'm going to go ahead and blame. I'm going to blame Jeff for last week.
That's right. I need to text you first, risk not getting it in on time.
What I would do is, like, who does this affect? Does this affect Jeff Erickson? It does. I'm going to take care of that first and then deal with myself later. Is what I would have done, but that's just me.
Yeah, I know. It's exactly what most people do in life. But yeah. And the fact is, I did text you my lineup ahead of time, so you did see that I had that there. Yeah. So I'm going Berger. It's a little risky. I might change my mind on that. No Niemann. No one's going to jump back on Niemann. No one likes to go back to the well on that, do they?
It's
not when it's such
tough.
a big. I mean, he's just played out of his mind. It was such a dominant.
The fact that after the tournament, he felt like the tournament lasted for a month. I think he seemed like he was a little drained by the end. Understandably, going wire to wire is tough. I think this is a tough cross country week for Niemann.
For sure, especially when he's dominating. He's going 60, 63, 63. And like the second question is, what are your thoughts on Saudi? I mean, like, come on, let him enjoy the moment, for crying out loud.
No doubt.
So there you go on that. So yeah, Berger for me for now. It's one of those weeks where I'm almost tempted to go kind of like off the board a little bit here. I might pivot to Mitchell. I don't know, just because it's not a week with a ton of obvious selections. So I'm doing it. I'm going Mitchell.
He makes a lot of sense, because how many weeks are you really going to be that fired up to use Keith Mitchell playing well in this kind of field? It's a good spot to use him. Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, I'm going Mitchell, and then watch now that I say that, now watch Berger win. But there you go. All right, that's going to wrap up our Honda Classic preview. Thanks everybody for listening. As always, please subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff with us. Read Jeff's article that he posts on SI Golf as well, and give us all the feedback you want. We really want to know if there's something we're not covering. Let us know. Please give us all the feedback you can possibly give us. We thrive on that, live on it, breathe it. So it's very important. Thanks everybody for listening. Good luck in the Honda Classic. Have a great day.